Kia ora, I'm Zinger, or I'm Bono, and this is a VOD review between Do-It-Face and Squincher on behalf of Squincher. So, Squincher, I have played you 2 times on Quick Play, not Quick Play, like, the New Zealand Discord. Unfortunately, my Switch is a nuke right now, so I actually can't use it, but, I've always thought that your Falcon had, a very strong point. And actually, watching this set, it was actually very pleasant. You were commenting on how you kind of wanted to improve your neutral and your ledge trapping. For the most part, actually, I think your ledge trapping was very good in this set versus Do-It-Face. I don't know if you maintain the same level of ledge trapping across, your other opponents, but the fact that you're playing, generally the sort of point of ledge trapping is, or like the goal of ledge trapping is covering the opponent's best options and moving down from there, right? And I feel like you were doing very well in that regard. You were throwing out back airs, punishing, a double jump, get up, double jump, cancel, there, but you were also covering the cross up with up B. So honestly, when it comes to that sort of ledge trapping, I actually don't have a lot of comments. I'm going to be maybe referring a bit to Aloof's method of ledge trapping and kind of add a little bit of stuff there, give you some ideas. But for the most part, actually, I was really impressed by the ledge trapping. The edge guarding, though, that's something that I think I'd like to talk about and kind of go by. That's why I've got this Lucas page up. And I think, had you kind of exploited the edge guard scenarios a little bit more, I think the set would have gone like very much in your favor. Not that it wasn't for the most part, to be honest. But apart from that, I've got some neutral to look at, and there's some ideas in neutral that we'll cover. I'm sure you've heard Tim Tam talk about the neutral triangle, but that is what we'll be looking at, and kind of push and pull systems. But yeah. So, I don't really know what the DK is. I don't know if he's like a secondary for you, or if you want him to take into Do-It-Face. I assume it was kind of just a practice pick, and it's not a bad practice pick. I feel like you've got some fundamental with it. Some things I was a bit of a critic of is stuff like this. So down tilt, down tilt. You got the trip here. This should be an on-reaction grab. You know what I mean? So what Hikari, I think that's his name, the DK in Japan will do, and other DKs globally, is that they'll hit one down tilt. Down tilt 1 into down tilt 2 is a true combo. Down tilt 2 into down tilt 3 is a true combo. They're all true. Like down tilt, down tilt, down tilt is a true combo string. But the reason they do it is because they want the odd of a trip. And once they get this trip, they can go for a dash grab or a side B if it's really high percent, or a giant punch. And kind of the two main things that I think were missing from this gameplay was cargo throw gameplay and charge punch, giant punch gameplay, because giant punch is kind of the thing that rounds out his kit to force an approach, or at least punish the lack of an approach, because once you get giant punch, your frame traps and your shield pressure become very strong because it's such a safe tool in the shield. But regardless, I'm sure you kind of know that cargo throw is a big thing for DK, so I don't want to dwell too much on that. Another thing I won't dwell on too much, is that ice right there. I know I'm sure you know what went wrong there, but in general, I think it's good practice to kind of think of ice as just a bad move, in my opinion. For a lot of the casts, I think a lot of the time you should just not be getting hit by frost. You know what I mean? And sort of like over here, what you could have done instead is done just an instant upbeat to ledge, but that's just obvious stuff, and I don't want to dwell too much on it. As well as this, like cornering yourself, not much to talk about because we both know what happened and what went wrong. The giant tags. So, what I liked here though is that you got a really nice forward air punish, disrespecting a side B, although that's something that we're going to talk about when it comes to looking at the Falcon matchup, is because I feel like respecting side B will go a long way for that matchup, or knowing when you can disrespect it. But yeah, playing out the rest of this match, this down tilt could have comboed into another down tilt, going to grab, and right over here, this is the reason I've got this tab up, Lucas up B is a lot more punishable than I think people give it credit for. So it's only invincible for the first 9 frames. So if we go here, slow motion, that's roughly on the hit 1, 2, 3, probably 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I mean, regardless, it's over by here, right? This is just a down air, if you'd like. I mean, you did know to go for the forward air, but I think there was a bit of a harder punish there with either down B or down air. As well as right over here. He's kind of forked into a situation where he has to use up B. You can just do like a B reverse down B and force a spike situation, or even rising back at a force attack situation. Regardless, some jank happens and he dies. Moving on to the final stock. I'm glad you charged a Giant's Punch. I'm not sure what situations you use it in. But yeah, I mean, this part of the VOD isn't too valuable, I think, just because I haven't thought too much about it, and also I think DK is kind of an interesting character who has his own strengths and his own rights. I've kind of looked into it for the purpose of our players, but I know that I'm assuming your general scope is focusing more on Falcon. So let's move on to Falcon. One thing I was really interested in is how you would be playing neutral. So obviously one of Falcon's strengths is his mobility. His aerials are fairly safe. Like if I remember correctly, his Nair is like one of his safer neutral tools, especially on whiff, because it only has 7 frames of landing lag, and it's -4. Okay, yeah, that's good. And watching your VOD, I feel like you were very disciplined in what your options were after Nair. You would do either, shield, or and you would shield. You wouldn't get too overconfident. You would punish him when he did Nairs out of shield. Your neutral, for the most part, honestly, very, very clean. At least versus duo, and I was a big fan of like your whiff punishes and such. I think some weaknesses that came about is that on counting, the averages of your neutral interactions, you tend to overcommit more, and I don't think you play around one of Falcon's really good strengths, which is baiting and punishing more. Another thing we're talking about is side B here. So this was a good edge guard. You probably could have moved forward a little bit, pushed your momentum forward to get Nair, but regardless, this was like a really good pinpoint edge guard, but then you got hit by the side B. One thing I kind of want to look at is I think you underutilize forward air just a little bit in these edge guard scenarios. I'm sure it does feel a little risky because the risk reward is definitely very brutal if you miss, but it's honestly not like inconsistent, I would say. Very nice tech. Tried to get the empty hop down B. I respect it. Good recovery, though I think landing on ledge would have been a bit nicer, but that's fine nonetheless, and you get a nice punish. So you don't need to approach here. You're fine. You want to kind of walk here. He's kind of trying to baiting you into a dash or a run. I think just holding up on the stick and walking is really safe here, putting you in a frame 1 shield scenario. That being said, he was probably looking for like a reaction check up throw or just any sort of kill throw. This was a bit of an aggressive dash tech, I think, but we'll look into it longer. I like the patience, not immediately going in. Nearing being relatively safe here, I think. Using your up smash to bait and punish, that can be all very good. Playing very grounded, which I think might be a bit of a flaw in this matchup, but honestly it's working out pretty well, so I'm probably just wrong there. So I like these conversions. I feel like you could be frame trapping here a little bit more, but honestly I don't know the matchup. That was probably an up smash, but you knew it, and you killed him anyway. Lovely. You kind of messed him up for this game in particular. I'm a really big fan of this jab here as well. Jab hold is something in my heart from Snake, and I'm a really big fan of it. I mean, like, this ledge trapping is good, You're focusing on the parts that really matter. The problem, I think, comes in is you're not really punishing low a lot. So, he's airs here, you punish him. Up B, nice, well done. He side B's here. Runoff, Not run off down air. Hold on, what was the scenario again? I had a note on this. To jab. To the up air. You landed. Run off up air. Okay, this is probably run off now, and I feel like you probably know that anyway. Okay, I won't comment on that then. Nice side B. Yep. Very well conditioned punish. That's another thing I want to look at, and we'll look at it more towards later games, but I don't think you're retrieving a lot with the retreating double jump. I feel like in matchups, this jump is only threatening if you're in a spot to threaten them immediately, right? And this double jump back, this doesn't give you a whole lot. In fact, it kind of resets positioning in a position where you are really strong, you know? If you kind of were just here and you kind of react, like let's think of the options he has here. So from here, the options that he can give to you to react are either side B or up B, right? And if you react to both of those, you win. I mean, there's nothing, like, you're going to get the kill, right? If he doesn't do anything within this, it means that he's going to go for a Zia, probably, right? And if you think about it like that, you can actually build a really nice edge guard where you react up until a line, kind of where my mouse cursor is, and then instead you go for like a jump off, rising back here, or rising back down air, whatever you think will catch there most. One option I'm a really big fan of, that it's actually safer than people think it is run a forward air with Falcon. Because what you're looking for to punish moves that tether is long-lasting moves, right? And I feel like forward air here would have done a lot, really, to elevate you to at least taking a bit more stocks. That being said, you won this game cleanly. That was a really nice whiff punish. Most people would get, like a grab off it and get really scared, but that was a really nice, cool, calm, collected punish. I'm a big fan of that. Games 3 and onwards is kind of where the set gets a little kicked into gear, I think. So, I think a lot of the time, whenever you lose neutral, it's just because you were overcommitting in a spot where you didn't need to overcommit. So, we'll see possibly an example of that. See, okay, no, good punishes. I like your spacing, your shielding very nicely. He got the whiff punish on the down B, which is, a bit of a commitment there, but that's okay. I like the spacing there. Rising back here there was the answer there, I think. You have a lot of answers versus floaty characters as Falcon with rising back here, I believe. I could be wrong on that. But nonetheless, that was really nice spacing. A nice up smash to call out the spot dodge or the hold shield because you'd win that. And in general, you're doing very well here, but I feel like you're giving away a little bit too much stage by just constantly pressing on him. And that's fine, constantly pressing on him is really good, but I feel like you could be baiting these options a little bit more, right? Like, what if you, instead of landing that back here, that you just landed and then jumped, right? You would get a lot of mileage out of just, like, baiting these options, I feel like. And we even saw instances, like, later in the set where you did bait those options. There's also this option select, which I'm a big fan of, which is when you get people in juggle situations. I'm sure you probably could have gotten a kill off of this or something, it's Falcon. But if you do a dash shield and flick your shield over here, you'll actually cover the attack someone is doing or the air dodge someone is doing, and then you're able to reaction punish that into either like a dash attack or a forward tilt. Because he's not actionable over here until he's like over here, right? Like aerials in this game, while they're lagless on the ground, they're lagful in the air, right? Like when you do an aerial in the air, you're not gonna go down. You're not gonna, what am I trying to say? When you do an aerial in the air, by the time you land on the ground, it still isn't done, right? And using that dash shield option select, you actually get a lot of mileage off of that. I really like these pokes with back here. I mean, you're really keeping yourself non-committal, and I'm very big fan of it. I think you up to the platform here, and you kind of got punished for it. So maybe slipping through the platform there was a better idea, but in general, you're playing neutral really nicely here. I think something you could do a little bit more is after you land with an aerial is using jab a bit more, because if they shield, using jab 2 is a phenomenal option due to the fact that it's just so safe and also only -10, which is like amazing for a jab. But that's the only thing I would really comment on in that scenario. And even then, you were doing nairs into jabs. And that nair, clean kill. Really big fan of that. That dash attack is a bit of a poor dash attack though. And this is when it comes to overcommitting. So, you know, rock, paper, scissors. Pokes, whiffs, and... pokes, whiff punishes, and overcommitments. Falcon plays really well on whiff punishing and overcommitting. But when it comes to overcommits like this dash attack, you're giving up so much stage for what is really such little reward, you know? Because if they whiff punish that, they've got you in the grinder, right? I'm sure that, you know, hitting a dash attack at 0% does put at least an interesting scenario, but in the end, the reliable fact is that Lucas has got very bad pokes, right? Like his side B and his Zair. I mean, like his Zair is pretty good. It's what rounds it out, but it's also frame perfect if you want to do a double jump cancel Zair, right? So really, the only reliable poke he has, when it comes to long range, is side B, right? When it comes to the mid range, he's got a really reliable poke of F. Well, it's more close range. Let's say it's close range because that's where the sweet spot is. But for the mid range and for the long range, his pokes are actually really weak. He only really has like movement and frame perfect moves to be able to really get a lot of leverage off it. So as Falcon, you can play more around just kind of like, is he side being? Going for the grab. Is he not side being? Go in for an overcommit grab, because whatever option they do, you're probably going to beat it. Are they going to do a side B? You can, you know, keep yourself in the air, get a back air. Kind of facing away is probably really strong in this matchup, because you get to both choose to either whiff punish or to poke with a back air, and I think that's a really strong tool you could use. Obviously you've got really strong whiff punish tools, like your dash grab, and your dash attack can also be really good. But granted, I would say it scales more into like high percents when it comes to really good, but that's kind of how I think it's a really good way to think of neutral, is kind of thinking of your pokes and your whiff punishes and your overcommitments. So your overcommitting tools are dash attack, up B to a certain extent, side B, and dash grab. And your pokes are mainly back air and nair. So nair is like an aggressive poke, and you know, afterwards you'll do like a shield or a jab or maybe a jump if you're in their head. Back air is more for just, you know, safely approaching while also throwing out a hitbox, and it's very valuable in this tool because it covers a really good airspace. Sorry, I rambled a lot about that. Neutral is really important, obviously, in this game, and Falcon, I think, follows one of the really quintessential neutral flowcharts of this game, of, you know, poking and whiff punishing into overcommitting, right, and kind of playing that condition game. But also he has one of the strongest whiff punishing tools, or like tool sets in the game, which is something that I think you already know, but you know, something I think is worth exploring. That being said, you're doing very well. Side B, up air, really nice. Clean sort of gameplay. I think that forward air was a bit much, but regardless, I mean, you're just winning these interactions. I really like these full hops out of shield, because they're the one really good counter against any Lucas player, because, you know, they really, unless they're calling it out with an up air, they really struggle against full hop. But yeah, here's the disadvantage stuff we're going to talk about. Is, so you get them off stage, you're playing this really well. You know, you've got them here. They kill you off of this interaction, which is a bit unfortunate, but you're definitely on the steering wheel here, right? He side B's here, which is a flaw. You respected that, but then you just let them recover for free, you know? So, like, past here, they're already vulnerable, right? And you're going for a down air here for, you know, catching like 2 frames. You could get so much more vile. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could just run off down air, or, you know, grab ledge. What I like to do when I was versing Smithereens, who's a really good Lucas player in our region, is I would focus on the moment they're in a spot where I know that they're going to have to up B, grab the ledge. And the reason why you want to grab the ledge is because then you want to drop down and then do a rising back air. And it takes all of their mix straight out of the window. It is the win condition. It is quintessentially the best thing you can do in the matchup. In fact, so unfortunately this is the most recent VOD I can find, but so I had optimized this a little bit more later on into the head-to-head, but this was kind of the early stages of how I would punish the recovery. Obviously, Rob is Rob. Maybe just imagine this as a rising falcon there, but you know. So what I would do, grab the ledge. He's forced to up B, and I would do down B, jump cancel, forward air. You don't have to do that. You could just do drop ledge, back air here, right? You know, when the thing is done. And then right over here, I tried to get too fancy, and I tried to hit him with a laser, but I still hit him. Actually, no, wait, no, I hit him with the forward air here. So I punished, you know, the late frames of invincibility was around here, no invincibility here, forward air. I could have done a back air here. You know what I mean? Like, I was not punishing this like good April 2023, right? And then, oh god, this is so cringe. You know, like I should have just killed him there. I should have just done a back air. I mean, he's so vulnerable in hindsight now. And then later on, somewhere here, I think it was the second stock. It was a very similar situation. Yeah, so he's over here. I grab ledge. I can just run off back air, you know, or I can down B and then reaction forward air. The point is that this is a win condition, and already like here, no invincibility, right? Looks like the back would hit, but no. And that's kind of like what I think the flowchart to punishing Lucas recovery is. Just punishing that late intangibility is just key, you know, in so many matchups. Virtually everyone can do that, and the moment you see them charging up that thing, it should be curtains for most percent, you know what I mean? Respecting side B, again, just like you can full hop over it, you can shield it, just as long as you're not hit by it, because it's a really bad option. If you really want to punish it, you can just jump over him and then punish him for doing this. And then, you know, you've got him in up B, which is just a clean spike. Bit of an overcommit, I'm not going to lie. It worked, but I wouldn't suggest doing that. Good up B to kill. Big fan of that. So you got past his jump read, you got a really nice situation going here. I would go for the, I would still, yeah, so I'm seeing that he's using forward air out of these combos a lot, and I don't think you're punishing him a lot, right? So we saw back there, he did a forward air out of disadvantage. Over here, he's doing a forward air out of disadvantage, and I feel like you should just intentionally punish this by doing a dash shield flick into parry, you know? The more you get into their heads like this, the more leverage you'll get over this. You got them in a juggle situation, which is the strongest place you can have a Lucas. Like, honestly, if you want to optimize your advantage versus versus any Lucas, just optimize around ending your combo strings in a way that sends them vertical. Because the moment they burn their double jump, all of their landing options are dookie. You know what I mean? Like, right over here, you can just continually juggle them for free. It's fine. Just, like, run at them with a back air. You know, there's not a lot they can do. The worst thing they can do is, like, fast fall to a platform. Overcommitment, into kill. Well, that should have been curtains, but he misspaced the back air. Yeah, I guess that could have been a knee, I don't know. Good recovery. Back air poke. He's going to look for those parries all the time. I think you need to mix them up with grab. Just kind of open him up, because one of Duopace's biggest prides back in the day was like, hell yeah, I learned how to parry better than most other people in the scene. Because he saw that as a big weakness that Lucas has, and it's true. Lucas does have a big weakness out of shield a lot of the time. So learning to consistently parry was a really strong thing he could do, especially with parry F tilt. And I feel like the easiest way to punish this is to just open him up with grabs or just dash back out of shield, you know? Because when you're, if you're going to go for a parry, you do have what is essentially on an attack 6 frames of end lag, and on a grab 11 frames of end lag. And just punishing that is a huge benefit. And, you know, Falcon is a fast faller, so he gets a lot out of anti-hops, and I know you know that, but, you know. And raw down B, I respect that. Still another overcommit. Now, so you've got him. This was a really good now, you know? Like, you've forced him into a spot. He's facing away. He actually has, like, very little options to recover, right? But what did you do afterwards? So now, up here, and then right over here, you can just do, like, a back here afterwards. You know, I don't think... It might have been invincible, actually. Okay, I'm not going to critique that, because I think it might have been invincible. Jesus Christ. Okay, what a down B. Good full hops. I'm really loving these full hops, because you're just getting such good reaction punishes off them. Okay, so... Bit of a risky poke there, isn't it? And was he dashing back? Side B, side B. Okay, so side B here. Okay, so he threw a poke, you tried to reaction punish. Okay, so that was just good neutral on his part. In general, if you're gonna commit to these side Bs, I think it's actually kind of worth just committing fully to the corner, because if you're gonna sacrifice one thing, at least don't sacrifice how much space you're covering, right? Because here you're putting them in control of you, basically, right? Because if you fuck this up, they kill you, in quotation marks, you know, they'll shield it and they'll, you know, whatever will happen. If you're gonna commit to, in general, what Tim Tam told me is that if you've got an overcommitting move, you want to maximize the value you get out of it, right? So with Snake, what I would do is I would run up to people's shields, kind of, you know, hold a run on them, and then do the dash attack, right? So if they dash back, I would catch them dashing back, and if they shielded, I would just cross up, or I would just hit them on shield, you know, like, it's fine, right? Like, as long as I'm not getting whiff punished for the dash attack, movement-wise, that's the worst part, because then you have the most aim back here, right? So what I would say here is dash forward, and since you can side B at any point of the dash, because it's a side B, you actually get a lot of control of when you can do it, and I would say just cover the whole corner there, or at least most of it, whatever, you know, the action hitbox can do, because if you can at least eliminate the dash back from punishing you, that's really good, I think. But yeah. Alright, so continuing on the situation, take chase, up B, you get a side B, nice, into F4 there, I'm sure that was like a train trap scenario. He gets an F tilt, gets nothing from it, you get a side B back out. Okay, what happens there? Okay, you do a double jump back, which doesn't really achieve a lot, I think, and he kind of gets allowed to get back on ledge for free. You did give him like really little intangibility, which is pretty good, but I think what would have been more valuable here is one of two things. So either you jump here and you give yourself more momentum with slingshot, because right now you're just using a regular jump momentum one, and fully commit just a little bit more, right? You ideally, when you're rising up, they should be at what fucking ESAM calls the lower 45. And if, you know, if you get them to this sort of like parallel here, you're actually in control of a lot of their options, right? And the threat should be a back air, right? Even if you're not going to throw it out, that should be the threat that they have to deal with. And right here, they're not really dealing with any threat, right? If you double jump here, you're probably not going to punish them. If you continue on with this jump and then do a double jump aerial, you might punish them, but they're also probably able to just at least go high at that point. So what I would say is save the jump for a little bit, just a little bit later. Save the jump for like when you're going to get like level with the opponent, you know? Right here. Down air, back air, jump too early, you know what I mean? Maybe a good rule of thumb could be when they're actionable, do the double jump, right? Because then you would have been level, you know, a little bit more, and then the back air option has more power as a fair tool, because double jumping back didn't really give you a lot. Another thing here, the second option you could have done is run off knee, because here you would have been in the perfect position to get it, and run off knee is super active for this. Nice down tilt though. Okay, right here. He's gonna have to Zare. Zare is the primo grab to get here, right? And run off knee would have been the best thing to do here, but run off nair is also really good, but you did it slightly too late. Okay, you got another option. I feel like that was trying to be a slingshot, so I'm not going to critique it too badly, but run off 40 here would have worked, I think. Hmm. Yeah, I mean, you kind of won that, you know what I'm saying? Like, you won that stock twice, but you just weren't able to finish. Oh, dude, this is what I mean. You see, this was so good up until that. Like, I think maybe if you committed more to the drift, you would have been able to finish it, or even done like an up B or something like that, right? But this is a really good position. I'm really liking this. I think you can just react to the up B here, because I don't think they're in range for Zare, but that was good nonetheless. Yep, that'll happen. I mean, that's just kind of his passive win con, of course. Again, double jump doesn't really do a lot. Free recovery right here. Like, honestly, probably run a fair would have worked. Just because, just using forward air more as an edge guard tool, I think is really nice. Maybe you might disagree on that, and that's totally fair. Just because I don't play Falcon, But I feel like from what I see from other Falcons, they optimize the shit out of, using fair as an edge guard tool there. And I feel like you'd get a lot of leverage in this matchup. Nice, safe neutral, up yet a shield, good stuff. He's playing in the corner a lot. These are some dangerous pokes you're going for, but here's to their own. Risky poke. Risky poke again. Nice, safe poke into a down air call out. Doesn't pen too hard. Oh, that could have been a really hot bait and punish, but he kind of drifted in on that down air. Trying to read the roll there. I assume I was trying to read jump out of shield, in which that was pretty hot. Obviously, duo face wins. Oh, that's rough. I forgot that happened. Obviously, duo face wins this, but there's still a lot of signs of genius and a lot of signs of life here that I feel like. Yes. Ooh, no, close. Properly fought out. Yeah, I mean, I'm not here to comment on the kill confirms, so because obviously that's more your area of expertise. I feel like you could have overcommitted there with back air. Okay, we're back into the kill situation. You grab ledge. Okay, okay. Yeah, so this is when he's got all of his resources, he wants to go for a Zare. This is kind of when you want to go for a preemptive back air. He even wasted his jump there, which was actually kind of bad on his part. It actually wasn't. No, hang on. No, it wasn't. No, I'm being stupid. Oof. Up there. Yeah, okay. Yeah, definitely, I think just towards these later sets, covering low is so important, you know what I mean? And I feel like this was the defining factor between you not taking this set. Like right here, run a forward air, instant kill, you know what I'm saying? Maybe even doing fast fall and then the nair, right? Because you're in a really high position here. I don't think that really covers a lot except for high. And I feel like if you covered the low angled more, that would have just been a lot more valuable towards contributing to the win. If not, honestly, there was probably some spots where it would have won. But that's a nice whiff punish with dash tech. I mean, dash tech scales really nicely as a kill confirm, so that's nice. Playing really nice, safe neutral. Nair, oof, bit of an overcommitment there, I think. But, eventually he will have to go for a risk. And, yeah, I think the last resource you ever want to drop against the Lucas is jump, because that kind of just paves the way for up B. Obviously, I'm sure you're aware of that, but maybe there was an angle there where you didn't have to use jump. Maybe like air dodge, but, that's a hard position. Okay, game 5. This was a bit of heartbreaker because I actually thought you won this, Loki, because of that edge guard. That was a really good adaptation and kind of something that I think the first time you really did that edge guard in that sort of way, you were in a really good spot to do so. And it probably covered Zertilage, to be honest. Nice. Even that up here, not bad. Okay. Oof, rough. Okay. I mean, you're still in the lead. You're bit of an overcommitment there. I feel like in this game you were kind of losing just because you were committing a lot to a lot of options and you were being very aggressive, which which is fine for a lot of levels, right? But I feel like there were times when it was just like, you just need to step off the gas pedal a little bit, free edge guard. And I feel like, like sometimes, like right now, you can play a little bit more quietly if you want to. Lucas doesn't have any, like scaling options, like docking, giant punch or anything, so you never have like a timer on your neutral. So if you want to slow it down, you can slow it down, and I feel like there would be a benefit to slowing it down because sometimes Doorface is just catching you in neutral with side B because you've pre-committed to another option like that. Obviously that wasn't neutral, but still. Okay. He has the there, knee right there, I think. But nice ledge trapping. That's what I was talking about with the ledge trap. Dash echo punish and kills. Nice. Forward from ledge, side B. Roll up there. Okay, even stocks. I believe you were really in charge here. Like you were just taking him up. 4 different hit stun, side up B, down B. 4 different ledge. You didn't get too much of a punish there, but it's fine. You're only 20%. You're getting a lot of stage back, but you just lost it there. But you're back in. Forward air, up smash would have killed in a better world, but unfortunately, good DI. And we're on kind of the downfall here. So you can take your time. It's 4 minutes. He's 119%. If anything, he's going to have to be the aggressor of all situations. And Lucas' aggression is very easy to call out, right? But I feel like you were kind of just running in, like trying to close out the stock sometimes. Right here, you were being very patient, but then you would commit to like an option like down B. Or knee at times, or back air there, which I'm not sure, I might have been a misinput. But, jab right there is a good ledge trap, it's safe, but it's still kind of like, you can just play at a distance if you want. Any straight hits kind of work towards your kill condition of just dash attacking them eventually, right? Probably a free edge guard there, but probably not best to do a forward air there. Down B there, oh god, yeah, this kind of ended the set, didn't it? Because then you were forced into doing a high recovery and then down smash, yeah. So, yeah, just kind of using down B less here, you know what I mean? When you're in positions that you have the pedal on, you don't need to force interactions, And I know that you were trying to like, bait an option into killing him with down B, but everyone knows that Falcon down B kills, right? Like it's not surprising anymore, and he was just trying to poke you out from the corner to try bait something, right? So he would do like we saw the same interaction play out last stock where he would do a Zair and then immediately run back, right? And the way you play around it is you could have used side B here, to be honest. Poke, run forward, side B the corner, just to cover over all of it, and you would cover his jump, his dash back. But yeah, so that's the end of the set, obviously, and I think all in all, it was a really good set. You played very well, and I think the big takeaways is in neutral, try not to overcommit as much, and if you are, at least overcommit to the corner, or to whatever their dash back distance is, right? Because it's no use overcommitting when their dash back is going to cover that whiff punish, right? The main thing you want to cover by overcommitting is dash back, and if they shield it, whatever. If they whiff punish it though, that's when it starts getting cruel. Like with that interaction there, or the interaction on Hollow Bastion. The other thing I would say, this is more Lucas specific, is 1, respect the fuck out of side B, and 2, punish up B. Like up B's giga punishable, and their quintessential edgeguard option, disadvantage option, is there from ledge, right? Encountering that with forward air opens you up to just having them respect you and trying to play the ledge a lot safer, in which now there will be new ways to punish the ledge. I think already using the late hit of forward air would be really good, or the long-lasting hitbox of forward air would be really good, just to break that sort of Zair, because that's what kind of long-lasting moves are used for to begin with. Maybe there's some bots of top Falcons doing that, but that and using your jump a little bit later when you've got someone off stage, because I feel like you were doing jump in, jump out, and it wasn't really doing a whole lot. If you did a jump in when they were freshly out of hit stun and they're ready to, they've already drifted back to ledge, then you can threaten your back here a lot more menacingly than you do now of just doing like jump in, jump out, and just giving them the free recovery. Because that's the hardest part about Lucas, is playing disadvantage against characters who can just go out there and kill you before you are able to either Zair or up B, because their standard flowchart is that they want to drift in, get to Zair distance, and Zair. And if they can't get to Zair distance, they have to go low enough to be able to do double jumps there. And that's when you can start using options like forward air from ledge, or if they're respecting that, jump, drift back, up B. And they're on a timeout when they do that double jump. They can't always do Zair afterwards, right? If they're too scared that after you've done the forward air to commit to it, they will probably go to the up B, in which you can punish that maybe with your own up B, to be honest, and grabbing them. But this is too much fairy crafting, right? I just wanted to point out what things I think could have been improved on, and I hope this was useful. If there's any clarifications I can give, let me know, and have a good day.